Now it's time to look at the current updates of Alex Calvo. The man is living in the home of his late grandparents, who, according to him, seem to be haunting the premises ever so often.
Is there somebody in the laundry room right now? Are you a relative of mine?
In a lengthy video diary, Alex believes to have uncovered the reason for all these creepy events. He found a box with several items that are believed to belong to either his grandparents or distant members of the family from the 1800s. Alex states that his family seemed to be involved with ridding the world from evil entities, hence the reason for the strange assortment of stuff he uncovered. Then, one night, Alex heard some strange noises originating from his home, and was about to capture one of the scariest events to date.
Okay, trying again. Hearing sounds up here, like somebody's moving around. This stuff's been happening, but as soon as I pull my phone out, everything stops. I don't know. I don't know. That thing vanished, and my camera stopped recording immediately. At the same time, it's gone.
Alex captured a creepy-looking figure, seemingly turning away from the camera, and then, based on his reports, just vanishing. Unfortunately, his camera stopped the recording the second he saw this thing, which is pretty odd to say the least. It looks like an old man with a dark coat on, no hair, and the facial features are really hard to make out. He believes that this is one of the creatures living in a different dimension that's still roaming through the house of his grandparents. Could this be?
The following is the case of Cassandra Joy, who seems to be dealing with some really creepy activity in her home. The whole family had been freaked out as of late, and she tells us that it had been increasingly difficult for them to fall asleep at night. It all started with a strange encounter that the young woman had shared on her profile. The family heard a loud rattling noise stemming from outside, which was reason enough for them to grab their phone and start recording. We can clearly see how the gate to their property is moving back and forth, as if it was being moved by a person, giving the fact that it was not windy outside made this incident seem all the more unsettling. The most scary part of this night, however, unfolded once Cassandra notices something to the right of the fence. A tall figure is just standing on the other side of the steel fence, and it's quite hard to make out any facial features at all. Many comments say that this figure has pretty pale, almost ghoulish looking skin. The woman decides to grab a better flashlight, and when she returns, the person or ghost had disappeared. Pretty frightening, wouldn't you say? Only a few days after that, their doorbell camera captured another really strange incident. We can see a strange ball of light in the sky. It is making a few loops and then vanishing into thin air. And then the security system can be heard as it is kicking in, causing the family to wake up and to go check immediately. They believe this to be a connected incident, but have no idea who or what exactly could have caused all of this.
The next clip was uploaded by user Lead Guitar, who states that the material was recorded by an old mini DV camera in Marilandia, Brazil. The place the video was captured is still being used for many Catholic celebrations and gatherings of all sorts. There's a creepy legend going around about the ghost of a pregnant woman in a red dress that can be seen near the cliffs. A local farmer even swore to have seen her recently. The group that was capturing the incident was part of a cruise, and they were spending the day there to celebrate a personal event of one of their friends. A woman appears behind one of the young men in the blink of an eye, and she is then just staring at the camera without moving even just one bit. The young people stated that they did not see a lady on the cliffs before. A few moments later, she seems to be just gone. The uploader also explains that the footage had been re-recorded from the screen of his cousin's girlfriend, who is living in Marilandia. He also goes on to explain that the group had sent the tape in to Victoria ES to have the footage analyzed, and that they came to the conclusion that it had not been tampered with. Of course, it's impossible to say if this was really the ghost of the Red Lady or simply a living woman. But given the creepy legend, it makes this footage at least very mysterious in my opinion.
The next video was featured by El Mundo DK Biza, who was looking into a pretty unsettling CCTV video which was originally recorded in Cusco, Peru, where the device was mounted close to the Urcos Lagoon. The clip features a person who silently sits right in front of an old brick well, and after a few moments, it gets pretty bizarre. The person is getting up and ducking into the well, as if grabbing for something. Then we see an object appear from the depths of the well that many people believe to be the head of a spirit. The interesting part about it is that in this region there's a local tale about the floating heads that have been seen over the past decades by many different people. It is described as an illuminated floating head that some believe to be part of an old entity that roams deserted places, maybe such as the depths of this well. Perhaps this video is proof that the legends of the floating heads are in fact real. What do you believe? They had never found this mysterious person that was leaning into the well, making this recording just that more eerie.
This video was uploaded to a channel called frostmaretv, which is owned by a young man who is supposedly living in a pretty haunted apartment. He states that he sometimes could hear some really eerie noises in the middle of the night, and ever since moving into the place, he also felt like he was being watched, but could never really put his finger on what exactly made him feel this way. One night he was recording a piano lesson, and this was when the eerie incidents that are about to follow took place. The recording was pretty old, and I fully remastered the footage for you guys.
Hallo?
The young man is obviously experiencing a pretty malevolent and powerful haunting in his new place. And if that isn't terrifying enough, he had to acknowledge that a dark shadow entity was standing right in his living room that night. Possibly causing all the interference with the television, as well as all the objects that were being moved around. And no, he did not see this thing at the time. He would have bolted out of there, he states. It's quite the creepy thought, knowing that some evil force seems to be tampering with your devices late at night. The man had no idea what this thing wanted from him, but it is said that he moved out shortly after realizing that he wasn't alone that night, and I can't blame him for that.
time to look at an update from the channel Our Haunted House. The man living in this place has started documenting some quite nightmarish shadow encounters that are unfolding in his home. Over the past year, he has been dealing with at least 2 different entities that are scaring him ever so often. He even captured the silhouette of a woman in a blue dress that seemingly was just standing only a few feet away from behind a glass table in his living room. He could only capture these apparitions separately most of the time. The following night, however, he believes to have gotten both of these things on camera.
Layout of the house. This is the room where primarily everything's been happening.
Let's brighten the footage up a bit. Can you see them? We also can hear some strange weeping sounds, making many believe that these weird noises stem from the shadow entity that we see on screen. It's quite understandable that the man decided to install several security cameras inside his home, and one night, the camera had alerted the man that something was captured in his bedroom. A creepy head seems to be coming straight out of the ceiling, and the man believes that this thing was watching him at night. If this doesn't induce nightmares, then it most certainly will induce some despair. But even the camera in the hallway could capture a quick-moving shadow entity. We can see it taking the stairs, but it's only visible for a couple of frames. To this day, the man could not figure out what could have caused all these scary encounters in his home, and why they seem to be staring at him at night time, and what exactly they want from him. Let's hope that he will eventually find the answers to these questions.
In this video, we are following the team of Mindseed TV into the supposedly haunted Wildwood Sanatorium, which is home to many ghost stories. The property owner is telling the team that many people see shadow figures in there, and that others are getting touched by those entities. Shortly after their arrival, they start the investigation after conducting a few interviews. They scout out the whole sanatorium, and it seems that the basement was the first area where something interesting was captured.
Let's see what's going on with this. Whoa, you hear that?
What?
Whoa, you hear that?
What?
Whoa, you hear that?
What?
You could probably hear it on your audio.
Certainly creepy. They make it back upstairs and take a look into the many former patients' rooms.
Like it. You leave here with all sorts.
What the?
As I spin my flashlight, I see that there's like a plastic ball falling down a staircase in the room that's adjacent to us. What the?
The team believes that this might have been thrown by one of the younger spirits that is still residing in this old building. A wind breeze? Unlikely.
We have placed 4 static cameras throughout the house in just random various locations. Most of them we didn't see anything interesting on, but one of them, the one that we had aimed at the stairwell where the ball had initially fallen down, it captured some pretty interesting things.
And then, one of the static CCTV cameras can capture this sinister face peeking out of the darkness. Could this be a former patient? Maybe something more evil that is still existing in the depths of the basement? Whatever the answer, it's very nightmarish, and it's worth watching the rest of this investigation for sure. And guys, please make sure to visit my today's co-host's channel, Depths of Despair. They are bringing you spooks on the weekly with tons of awesome creepy content that will definitely take you through the rest of the holiday season. Say hello to them, leave a few nice comments, likes, and make sure to follow their entertaining format. It was a pleasure working with them, and you'll find the link to their channel in the video's description. Thanks again to Depths of Despair for making this fun collaboration possible.
Many of you are familiar with the urban explorer, Urbex Hill, aka Chris, who has shared many scary adventures to abandoned and derelict places. He recently had visited the back rooms where he had the opportunity to test out his brand new infrared camera and lights. And it didn't take long for his new equipment to capture something interesting. Chris told his viewers that all of that had sent chills down his spine, but he decided to revisit this location since all of this activity was quite frankly astonishing.
It's nasty. What the hell? What's that?
Once again, a strange noise captures his attention as he makes it into one of the back rooms. It's not easy to see, but there appears to be a quick-moving object that can only be seen for a few seconds through the rusty iron bars. Is it an animal, or was it something else entirely? Chris was quite spooked at the time and ran back to the entrance hall. It took him a few minutes to recover from this incident and regain his composure, and that's when he concluded that it probably must have been a bunch of raccoons. But then, something seemed to grab him from behind. Chris states that he was unable to move for about 10 minutes while lying dazed on the floor, and after coming back to his senses, he decided that now was probably the best time to leave. The infrared camera had captured some more interesting shapes, however, and perhaps even the most malevolent entity which was responsible for throwing him onto the ground. For Chris, it is without a doubt that these back rooms are haunted by something sinister, and it is unclear if he is planning to return to this place anytime soon.
What just happened?